Shut up and sit down.
It's Coffee with the Coaches, episode 25, coming from the Mega Desk.
Mega Desk.
Oh,
Courtney's back. She can
Paige
do
is
it.
going to be so upset you beat her to it.
It was Courtney's line first. I love it every time I listen and I hear you say it. I get so excited. Mega Desk.
All right, Courtney is only here for a couple of minutes. She's got to go to work, so she's here to tell her dad joke, and then she's going to leave. So,
Are you ready for this?
yeah, go for it, Courtney.
Okay. What's the difference between black-eyed peas and chickpeas?
Black-eyed peas and chickpeas. I don't know what.
Black-eyed peas can sing us a song, and chickpeas can only hum us one.
Oh, no.
Okay, goodbye.
He wasn't even going to wait on the punchline. He was ready to give you the sad trumpet.
Oh, I had my finger hovering over the sad trombone.
You're just rude.
So, can you stick around for our jokes? Or
No, I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Okay.
I'll hear him later.
Bye, Courtney.
Bye. Well,
Okay.
good guy. Bye, guys. See you next week. See you later.
Okay, so I just texted my girlfriend Ruth and told her that it's over. I'm ruthless.
Oh, no.
All right, Paige, do you have one that doesn't
man.
suck?
I'm going to tell the one about the pillows.
Okay.
Have you heard about the new corduroy pillows they've been making?
I haven't heard about them.
I don't know why. It's making headlines. Okay, that one was on the radio. Thank you. Thank you very much. That one was on the radio, so some people probably already heard that one, so I'm going to give another one just in case they heard that one the other day.
Okay, round two. Ready, go.
You think a snail would be faster without its shell, but it's actually more sluggish.
I like that one. That one's good.
That one's courtesy of Wamber's dad joke book.
Oh, nice. All right, so what's our topic for the day?
All right, we're talking about wearables,
Wearables? Yeah.
fitness wearables.
So I actually had a question this morning about, essentially it was about calorie trackers using the watch. And I think it was the Apple Watch specifically, but the question was something to the effect of, this workout showed me this many calories. Why didn't it show that many calories? So that one, I get that one occasionally. And usually I dig right in and I say, first off, these things are wildly inaccurate. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you wear two different Apple Watches and do the same workout, one wrist is probably going to tell you something different from the other wrist for one.
Yeah.
And then especially when you start switching from one platform to a different one, like Apple Watch versus Garmin, they're just so inaccurate that it doesn't really give you decent enough information to actually work with. So that's where I always start with the conversation. Now, when you get this question, where do you start? Or is it in the same place?
I usually go along the lines of don't invest too much. It's in the same place. Don't invest too much in the data that Apple Watch or Fitbit or whatever you're wearing, Whoop even is giving to you like immediately, because there's so much more involved in our personal calorie input and output that it can't just be defined by something that you can take off of your wrist and put on somebody else and then trust exactly what it's giving, what kind of data it's giving to you.
Yeah.
The Apple Watch, all fitness wearables kind of use algorithms essentially to estimate a calorie burn based on your age, height, weight, gender, all these different kind of factors. Some of them don't even include that information. They just purely go on heart rate.
Heart rate and time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's can be wildly inaccurate. You've got some people who it might actually be a little more accurate than the next person, but it's just like your basal metabolic rate, the amount of energy you burned at a complete rest is going to be different. I can be sitting next to somebody that is the exact same weight, height, even have the same amount of muscle mass as me, and we can have a different basal metabolic rate. It's going to be close to the same, but it can be different.
And this would be actually how your body is working. That's not even talking about how the wearable is interpreting that data, right?
Yes, okay. Exactly. And the wearable might estimate that this person has all the same features that I do. Age, weight, height, gender. It might estimate that our BMR is the exact same, but it's not. That's just not how it is. And it's so convoluted and so complicated, and it can't all just be broken down into one watch or one wearable. Yeah. So a lot of times people invest a lot of their energy in making sure that they start their watch for a workout, or they turn on the exercise mode immediately when they walk in the gym doors, and you're not really doing much more than you're going to be doing at rest or simply like walking to your vehicle until you literally start the actual exercise that you're intending to do. So when you turn your watch on, when you turn it on exercise mode, it automatically starts slightly overestimating the calories that you're burning.
Just because you turn
it on.
You said that you were exercising.
Right. One night, I don't know how it happened. I turned my watch on exercise mode all night long while I was asleep. So I woke up with like 3,000 calories burned, in quotes, already the next morning. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, what happened here? And obviously that was not the case because I was laying in one spot all night long. So that just goes to show you how inaccurate it can be. Yeah. So it's already overestimating just simply when you flip that switch. It also gets way too much credit for your actual calorie burn within that hour of workout. So you might burn 500 calories within a workout, but have less energy expenditure after that workout, depending on what the workout was that you were doing. So, for instance, you come in and you do a 45-minute, Murph. So you come in and you do Murph. You burn tons of calories because you've done so many reps and you just did all this work and you worked so hard for so long. So, yeah, I burned so many calories. I earned so much extra. I might lose a whole pound from this workout based on how many calories I burned. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, you're going to lose some water weight, obviously. But something like that is actually going to put you in more of a catabolic state than it is an anabolic state. And so what that means is you're essentially going to be breaking down more muscle tissue than you're actually going to be building in return for the future. So if you invest a lot of your effort in doing workouts that burn the most calories for that time, you're actually doing yourself a disservice in the remainder of the day, where you would be kind of building up muscle and turning your body into more of a fuel burning furnace rather than kind of not getting the benefit of muscle building while you are at rest. Yeah. Because that's when the muscle building process happens, is while you're at rest, when you eat, when you sleep, when you're resting outside of the time of the workout. So more energy could be invested in doing the right kind of workout and less worrying about how many calories you're burning in that single moment.
Yeah, that brings me to my main problem that I have with this idea of tracking calories with the watch or whatever it is, or really tracking calories in a workout anyway, is first off, I already mentioned it's really easy to show how wildly inaccurate they are, but two, I don't believe we should work out to burn calories.
Right.
I think we should be working out to build strength, stability, endurance. And then that brings us to the important part that I think you already just touched on, that the calories are going to be important to rebuild from the strength training that you did. And so you need calories to build back up. So if you're only looking at your workout as a method to burn calories, then you're just in your mind, you're already just demonizing calories as if that's the problem that you're
Right.
having. And so then you're not giving your body back the calories that it does need. And of course, there's a lot of layers here, but that's just the general framework of how I start this conversation about using calorie trackers or watching calories burned on your fitness tracker.
Right.
That's my spiel right there.
Right. Now, this isn't to say that a calorie tracker is inherently bad. It can
Right.
be a really good motivator to get you to actually getting up and doing things throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's what I really love about like the stand part on the Apple Watch. Like if you realize you've been sitting on your butt for 3 hours, it's like, hey, Tubby, let's get up and walk around a little bit.
Well, and that's how this conversation started, or at least how this conversation went this morning. It was a quick one. We were finishing a workout, but I said the fact that calories burned is a metric on the watch. It can be useful for people getting started. It's an idea that gets people going with a workout plan or something like that. But I think you got to be really careful with it as you actually get into working out, and especially with strength training, because I don't think we need to demonize calories. So.
Right. Burning calories should not be your ultimate goal when you're doing exercise. That's essentially what all this breaks down to, because that's not the true reflection of what kind of compositional progress you're going to make. How you make improvements in your body composition does not inherently depend on how many calories you burn in a workout.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're just going on runs or just going on walks just to burn some more calories, maybe if you're about to compete in a bodybuilding competition or something and you just have to shred that last little bit and you just need to continuously move in order to like get your have less resting time throughout the day just to get at that last little bit, you're probably miserable, first of all. And second of all, that's not contributing to improve body composition like people believe that it is. It can help in the temporary state, but just overall throughout the day, if you're just up and going on runs or fast-paced walks solely to burn calories, there's so many other things you could do to be improving your body composition than doing something like that. Now, it's certainly not to say don't go on walks or anything. Those are great for you.
Oh, yeah,
you should be up and moving around as much as possible throughout the day, and that is where kind of that long-term progress comes from, is just kind of being active, like taking the stairs over taking an elevator, parking on the other end of the parking lot and walking into the store. There's so many little things that you can do throughout the day to kind of boost your overall energy expenditure rather than expending yourself and laying it all out on the floor or on the pavement for a 300-calorie workout that's just going to leave you so exhausted that you don't do anything else throughout the day. Because if you think about it this way, I'm going to burn 300 calories in this workout because I'm going to bust my ass during this short amount of time. But then the remainder of the day, I'm so exhausted from that workout that I did and even more hungry because I expended so much effort on this cardio-style workout that later all I want to do is eat and lay around. Well, in the overall picture of the day, you wind up actually burning less calories because you invested so much of your energy in such that short time frame.
Yeah, and that was one of the references that came up this morning when I was having this conversation, was the person that was used to looking at this calorie number. They were used to going on a long jog or long walks and things like that, and so they were used to seeing a particular number after, say, 90 minutes of jogging or walking. And then so obviously they get started with what we're doing in here, and we're working out for about 30 minutes, but we're being really specific with strength training. We're working on developing some strength and some stability that wasn't there before. And I mean, we were working deadlifts, we were working step ups, we were working burpees, and so it was only about 40 minutes, but according to the tracker, it wasn't as many calories as what this person was used to seeing. And so that was the thing that I brought up, is don't rate the effectiveness on your workout from what your watch told you that you burnt. That's not the point. And because how could the watch even tell what you actually did? It's only going off of time, and then it can read your heart rate, but it has no idea if you're doing any strength training unless you put in a particular thing, but still.
And it's still
I'll say it
overestimating at that point.
Right, yeah. I'll say it again. The point of your workout isn't to burn calories. Of course, there are some specific workouts that might be done for that point for a particular reason, but that's not that's not my focus. That's not
Right.
what I'm in here working with you on. So
Right, exactly.
I'm talking myself in circles at this point. I've said
Yeah.
the same thing over and over.
It's hard to like add much more to that. And some people actually believe that like the calorie readout on an Apple Watch or some sort of fitness tracker is actually how many calories that they burn in a day, like in total. Like, so, you've got the move calories on your watch. Say by the end of the day, your goal is to get it to 500 every single day. And that person might believe that they're only burning 500 calories all day long.
Oh,
That's not actually how that works.
yeah.
And so
I've
that
never
that
heard
can
that
be another
particular
part
one.
of the conversation too. Yeah, I actually had somebody ask me that, and I was like, "Oh, no. That's not how fitness trackers work." And sometimes you can dig in a little bit deeper on your stats in the watch app. I know specifically, I'll just kind of revert to that one because most of us have Apple Watches. But if you revert to your stats in your phone in the watch app, it might actually give you an estimate of how many calories you burned all day long, based on your move data and just your getting up, walking around and stuff. And so it can be an okay estimate to base your, if you're trying to base your calorie intake on that, so your food intake on that estimate, and then maybe some days you're way more active than others. Like, it will give you a rough estimate of kind of how to create a calorie deficit possibly, but without tracking and understanding those things over several weeks at a time, you don't know if it's actually accurate or not, or even close to accurate. But yeah, so the little red number on your Apple Watch is not your total calorie burn throughout the day. You can look at an estimate of something like that on the watch app on your phone to see, okay, well, it shows that I burned around like 2,500 calories this day. And I know I only ate around 2,000 calories that day. So I'm in a little bit of a deficit. Okay, cool. And then just kind of repeat that effort over and over. And you might see progress in that format if that's something that you wanted to try for. But there's so much more to it than that. And it's all just averages. Like, there's just so much to it that's just averages. And there's no specific set number of anything when it comes to our bodies or when it comes to these readouts. Like, there's no set numbers for any of these things. It's all formulas, averages. No two people are the same. You just have to kind of trial and error all of it.
Well, my wish as a trainer is I wish they would remove this calorie estimate from the watch as far as exercise is concerned, because I don't think it's useful.
Yeah.
Would you go that far? Would you say that it's more damaging than it is helpful to anyone? Or I'm sorry, more helpful than it is damaging to anyone, because I don't see any benefit of looking at your calories in terms of workouts.
I never really thought about that, but
I wish they
you're
removed
right.
this one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a metric
good
worth looking
point.
at in terms of working out.
That is actually a pretty good point. Yeah. Because, there's other ways to measure these things. Like, steps is a really great way to kind of track your activity throughout the day. Just trying to get at least 10,000 steps a day. Yeah, you're going to be moving around more often in that sense. Yeah. And that'll automatically take care of how long you're standing. And
well, the people that I know that as a trainer, they put a lot of focus into nutrition and calories in versus calories out. Even the ones that I think are really good at it, they're the ones that say over and over again, don't, when you're dieting, don't add back in the calories that your watch tells you that you burned. And, I think that's really good advice. And so, you can control all your other data points, but this one just is so variable that, just they say leave that one alone.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And like MyFitnessPal, sometimes if you
oh my God.
you have MyFitnessPal connected to your wearable somehow, then MyFitnessPal might say, "Oh, you got an extra 500 calories today because of how active you were." Like, no, all that depending on how you got to your calorie goal, it might already be included in that calorie goal.
But even then, like you said a minute ago, if you had a particularly active day for whatever reason, then that would
Yeah.
require more calories, right?
Right.
But from a workout that's an hour or less, I don't think I'd be adding in more calories
No,
for that.
not if that's something you're doing
I'm kind of getting over
consistently.
my head at this point because I'm not the nutrition guy, but
Yeah.
still, it's just generally speaking.
If that's
I'd like to-
something you're doing consistently, then no. And it's, if you have one day where you're particularly active, if you're not just like, I have to eat more because I feel like I'm faint almost, then there's no need to even add in extra calories. Even if you do have one day that's particularly active, like if weight loss is a goal, especially, you just kind of scratch it up to, okay, cool, I just got a little extra deficit today.
Yeah. Well, I've talked myself into a corner on that one. I don't have anything more to say about it.
Yeah.
I would
That's
say
good.
I would invite somebody to give me a good reason to use the calorie metric on the watch. If you can give me a good argument for how this metric is useful, I'd love to hear it, because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't come up with any reason why I think it's useful for most people. So I'd love to hear an argument on the other side of this. So
Right. And it's not to say it can't be useful. Like, it totally can. And some people like to nerd out on the numbers. Like, sometimes if I were to go in a calorie deficit, I might look at my averages of calories burned over the course of a week according to my wearable data and be like, okay, this is about what my average is on the daily. And so I'll maybe take away 300 calories from that daily average, and kind of play around with it from there.
Yeah.
Like, that is one way that it can be useful, but you have to know and understand how to use that data.
yeah, and
Half the
really
time-
understand the big picture here.
Right. 90% of the time when I do a workout in the gym, I forget to start my watch and like don't even touch the button. And the days that I do, my calorie burn is so much higher than it is on the days that I don't press that button and start it. So that just, you'd think it would just pick up on those things and detect that if it were as accurate as it says it is.
Yeah. Well, now maybe we should finish this by with a little bit of positivity. I do like the Apple Watch as a activity tracker in some of their little motivational things, like the rings. I like having some, little simple things like that, like the goal to close your ring every day. I think that's useful. I do
Yeah,
really
for
like
sure.
that. Even for me personally, I'm not even talking about anybody that I've worked with from a coaching perspective, but even for myself, I think it's kind of a neat little challenge to try to close my rings on a daily basis. That being said, though, I think it's important to be realistic with the goals that you set as far as your rings are concerned, because you
Yeah.
can go in and change all of those. And I think when you get the watch, at least with the Apple Watch, it comes with some preset standards that might be way out of reach for some people. So I would advise you, if you're going to use this, go in and change those standards to something that makes sense for you, and then over time you can increase those. But
Yeah.
I like it for that reason. I think closing the rings is a decent goal.
Yep. Yeah, I do like the ring also. The ring thing.
Yeah. And I'm not familiar with Garmin or Fitbit at all, but I imagine they're all kind of set up in some similar ways.
Yeah. Yep, they are.
That's
I
it.
had a Whoop for a little while. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, how did the
It was
Whoop
cool to see
compare
that
to
data.
the watch? Because I know you wore that for a little while. Would you say it was
Um,
better or worse, or more accurate or less accurate, or just overwhelming with the data? What did you think?
It was probably more accurate. Like, it had a little bit lower calorie expenditure readout, which was probably closer to accurate than the Apple Watch is. And you didn't have to like go in and start a workout on it, because it automatically detected when
It
you
just
were working out.
recognized
Yeah,
that.
it would recognize
Which
it.
is the way it should be, really.
Right.
If you're using it to track fitness.
Yeah. And I do really like how it would kind of estimate your HRV, your heart rate variability, which is essentially the time in between beats. Which if you have I'm going to say this wrong. If you have a greater heart rate variability, you have a essentially like higher level of fitness. And it tracked your sleep pretty well. It would kind of track your REM sleep, so your deep sleep. It would rate your recovery the next day. The problem with Whoop is sometimes people can invest a little too much into it. You might wake up one morning and be like, man, I feel awesome. And then you look at your phone and it's like, according to your data,
Your score is low.
your score is low today according to your data. So try to just take a rest day. And you're like, oh man, but I feel so good. Like, if your body tells you you feel good, you feel good. Do something.
Yeah.
Like, do what you can with that. So it can be a little bit off in that sense, but like I said, it's all averages. It's all,
Yeah.
nothing is 100% accurate. And so the best way to do this is to just be strength training, go off of how you feel, eat nutritious foods, drink plenty of water, and get plenty of sleep. The boring stuff nobody wants to do, but everybody needs to do.
Oh, wait, wrong one. I was trying to give you applause. Yeah, that really is that simple, consistent stuff that's so much more valuable than any of this.
Yes. Yeah. Long
Yep.
story short, just do the basics, and you'll be 90% of the way there.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a good stopping point.
Let's do
Anything
it.
to add?
Nope.
All right. We'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Shut and sit down.